Hello and welcome to the channel. Thanks very much for watching. This is part 2 of building a chronograph using the VK63 movement from AliExpress. And I left you in part 1 with the hour and minute hands on the watch, and I was just about to start on the small dials. So this one at 3 o'clock, that's the 24-hour hand. It basically tracks the hour hand of the main watch and just tells you the time in 24-hour format. So it's pretty important to get it set at midnight because that's where the hour hand is pointing at the minute, so it needs to be in sync with the hour hand. I suppose when you're setting up the watch, if you had some country in mind, and I suppose you could set this sort of 3 p.m. hour hand at a 3-hour gap or a 9-hour gap or whatever the time difference was between the country you're in and the country you want to monitor. But normally it just tracks the hour hand. I suppose it tells you whether it's day or night. I must admit I've never got 1 in the morning confused with 1 in the afternoon, or very rarely anyway. So I think 9 times out of 10 looking out the window would solve the trick. So anyway, that's the 3 p.m. sub-dial dealt with, and now I'm moving on to the 6 p.m. one, and this is the second hands. This is just like a normal second hand indicator, so it'll just sweep round once a minute with the main watch. It's a hacking function, which means when you pull the crown out to the hand setting position, the second position out, the second hand will stop moving. So that means you don't need to be too careful about where you establish it when you're pressing it down. It can be anywhere, because if you can just wait for it to get to the 12 o'clock position and pull the crown out. That will stop the second hand, and then you can move the hour and minute hand to midnight, and then you can reinsert the stem, and they're all in sync from that point. So I'm just pressing it down anywhere here. I'm using, as you can see, I've got it on my little sort of table thing, and that's to get the second hands and the small dials as close to my eye level as I possibly can. The closer it is to your eyes, the easier it is, I find, to do it. And I've tried plonking some Rodico on the base of the movement holder to just sort of try and stick it to the table. You can see the huge sort of goggle things I'm using to magnify there. And the idea of this Rodico is just to make it a bit more stable, so I'm not moving it 1/4 of an inch and then losing focus with the cameras. The number of times in the past I've moved the movement holder just a fraction of an inch, and that's enough to throw the focus out, and then you guys can't see what I'm doing. But this is a reasonable shot. This is the hour indicator. Sorry, I meant the minute indicator when you set the stopwatch going, the chronograph function. So again, this needs to be on midnight, so that when you start it and reset it, it comes to the exact right spot. So now the last hand to get on is the second hand that forms the chronograph function, the stopwatch function. Now there's a reason that I've waited this length of time before putting a VK63 movement on YouTube, and that's because nearly every time when I build a VK63 watch in the past, this chronograph function, this stopwatch function, no matter how hard you try, you put the second hand down and it will not revert to midnight when you press the second button. There's 2 buttons, one at sort of 2 o'clock or 1:30, and one at sort of 4 o'clock-ish. and the one at 1:30 sort of starts and stops the second-hand timer, and then the button at the bottom in roughly the 4 o'clock position that springs it back to midnight, or in my case in the past 1 second before midnight. And it's dead annoying seeing that second hand not pointing pretty much exactly at the 12. It's meant to point exactly at the 12 o'clock, and it just bugs me every time I look at a watch like that, and it's not quite right. So I'm wondering if this is going to be, you know, the usual story. Pretty embarrassing putting it on YouTube and people watching me fail to get it to midnight, but I'll do my best. So that's me looking at it and thinking, well, that looks like it's on at midnight. So I'll twist the dial round so you can see it, and look, that's okay. I'm happy with that. That's exactly on midnight. So that's good. That normally I find that quite difficult. So yeah, I hope all of you don't struggle the way I used to, and probably still will in the future. So now that's the hardest bit's done, really. Those small dials and the chronograph second hand. They're the hard bit. Now it's a case of getting the stem out and putting the watch movement in the case. It can be a little bit awkward getting the stem out of the VK63. I always make sure that the crown and stem are pushed in, so that you'd call it the winding position, except of course this is a quartz movement, so there's no winding to be done. But you know what I mean, pushing the crown in, and then there's a button which you can see me pressing down there with a little screwdriver. And I'm just trying to keep the face of the dial away from the desk, because I don't want to knock the... I spent all that time getting that second hand exactly at midnight. I don't want any kind of little knock to knock it out of kilter. But I've got the stem out, so that's good. And now it's a case of getting the case ready. And you can see on this case, on the back of the case there that I've just put down, it's got that sort of moon, and then beyond the moon the earth. That's a blatant copy of the Omega Speedmaster 50th anniversary Snoopy edition, except it's not a real copy, because in the real thing, when you set the stopwatch going and the second hand starts sweeping across the dial, at the back of the case there's a similar sweep. It's basically a second hand with a little Apollo type capsule in it with Snoopy in it, and that sweeps across the back of the case. It's magnificent. They're great watches, those, but I won't pay $20,000 for a second-hand copy of one of those 50th anniversaries. But if you're lucky enough to own one, they're a lovely looking watch. They're sort of, this dial is black with silver subdials. That Snoopy anniversary edition is blue with white subdials, and of course there's a Snoopy on the front there. Anyway, I was just thrown into that by seeing the back of the case, which is a shameless copy of that. So now I'm just putting the movement in the case. Now you need a sort of plastic insert to keep it all solid. And when you put the plastic insert around the movement, of course you've got to make sure that there are 3 holes in the plastic ring, and they are for those 3 buttons on the side of one for the stem, of course, and then another 2 for the little pushers that push down and set the chronograph function going, and then returning to midnight. So obviously those holes have to line up exactly with those hole positions. So now I've got the stem in. I'm happy with the positioning of the dial, and as usual, it's a case of measuring how much to take off. So I'm just doing that now, and you can't see it, but it's about 4mm. So that's got to go. So this time I thought I'd try something different. I normally use basically pliers to cut the stems, and they always leave us. They cut at an angle, and B, they sometimes leave jagged edges. This time I thought I'd try a Dremel cutter to try and get a straight edge, and I've done it here, and it actually works really well. I think I'll be doing this instead of pliers from now on, because it just cuts straight through the stem with no problems, and it's a pretty clean cut. There's just a very, very slight angle to it, which took almost nothing to take off, and it means with a clean cut you can go pretty much to the edge of if you mark out 4mm that you've got to take off the case, and you mark it with a felt tip pen, you can go right to where you've marked it and cut it off there, because you don't have to allow for another millimeter or so coming off when you file away with the Dremel or some of the tool, some of the file to get rid of the jagged edges. You can cut it at the length you want it, and there's minimal adjustment to get the crown on. So for the sake of time, I've not shown you putting the crown back in and checking the length is right, but I did, and the length is perfect. So now I've pulled it out again, and I've just used a bit of Loctite glue to put the crown and stem together, and wiped away the excess glue, and then I'll wait 20 minutes and then I'll carry on with the rest of the watch build. If you don't do that, there is a danger that one day you'll be sitting there with a crown in your hand and an empty, and in the hole in the case there'll be a piece of stem sticking out, which you'll have to get out from that point, which won't be that easy. So always use the Loctite, and always use the blue Loctite and shake it before you use it. Right, so now we're nearly finished now. I'm putting the straps on the watch, and I wasn't sure which one to use, so I've got two candidate straps for this watch. One is this first thing I'm putting on right now. It's a grey suede, and I think suede looks pretty good as a strap on a watch. It's very comfortable to wear, that's for sure. I'm trying both. The suede one, I've got a black one as well, a black leather strap to try and see which one I like the best. That looks pretty decent. I quite like that. It's very understated and classy, which that's a bold claim to make for a watch with 3 subdials, but and a pure black face. But I think it looks okay. And now these are quick release spring bars, so they're very easy to get out just with your hand. So now I'm going to try the black leather strap and see what that looks like. And well, as usual, I'll give you giving the watch away to someone who makes a comment in the comments section. So you could, well, especially if you, by all means, make a comment. I'm really keen to hear observations, hints, things that I can do better, things that you want more of. So do make a comment if you've got anything at all to say to me. That will help me make better videos in the future that you'll enjoy more. But in the absence of that, and you just quite like the watch and would like me to give it to you, then just put a comment in saying grey or black, and whichever one, I'll pick somebody, and whichever they picked, grey or black, that's what I'll send to them. So we're halfway there. The black strap is nearly on. nearly on now. So there are over 1,600 subscribers now. So thanks very much to everyone who's subscribing. 1,600 subscribers, but well, probably more than that by the time this goes out. But very few of you make a comment, and it's good to get comments. It's great to get feedback. So, but anyway, thanks for everyone for subscribing, and thanks especially to those people who've supplied a comment. So there you have it. There's the watch, and just the top button there starts the stopwatch function going, the chronograph function, and then it also stops the second hand. The dial on the left is the minute counter as the stopwatch sweeps around. That stops it, and now the bottom one returns it, and it's coming back to 12. So that's pretty good. Thanks very much for watching, everyone.